I almost lost 8 years of friendship because I acted like a pussy. I'm sitting with four of my friends at a poker table at our house, and my best friend is there as well. So we're playing poker, we're drinking a bit, and after a few hours, one of our friends is starting to talk about people from our old class. He's talking like, hey, what they might be doing right now, and oh, there was this girl who still is attracted to me, and whatever. He's a very direct and polarizing guy, let's say. So we're all sitting there, we're laughing, we're cracking jokes, and at some point, that one friend he starts to talk about a guy who we don't even actually know. We know he exists, but we don't actually know him. And he started to make fun out of him. Like actually, he's starting to make fun out of him. And our other friend, he starts to record it. Like he's talking about it, how we're laughing, and he also records my best friend. So we laugh for 5 minutes. We kind of make fun of this guy. After he stopped recording, my best friend looks at us and says like, guys, this is not cool. Delete the video. I don't want to be in the video. I don't want to support this kind of behavior. And we're all silent and we look at him. We're like, whoa, what is happening? Because usually we have a very chill and fun atmosphere, and suddenly he's very serious. He's almost shouting like, delete the video, delete the video. I don't want to be in that. So my guy, who I told you is direct and polarizing, he starts to discuss and fight with him, like, hey, why are you like that? What's wrong? And suddenly they are fighting with each other. And my best friend is there, looking at me sometimes as well, and saying like, this behavior is bad. Why are you making fun of this guy? You don't even know him. Why are you doing that? I don't support that. That is like bitch behavior. Don't stop doing it. And to be honest, I felt very bad in that moment. I felt very bad in that moment. I felt ashamed because he was right. After a few minutes, my best friend just left. He left the house, he went home. And I felt even worse at that point. Because at that point, it wasn't even that we made fun out of some guy who we don't even know, which was completely like unnecessary and complete bullshit. But at the same time, I could not speak up and I could not support my friend in the fight he had with the other guy. Like we were all friends. We are friends for years, you know? But still, my best friend had a point, and I agreed with his point. And I saw that our polarizing guy, he was slightly like attacking him and saying things like, yeah, but why are you destroying our fun now and whatever. He was gaslighting him a little bit. After my best friend left, I followed him and I said to him like, can you stop for a moment? I like, can we talk about it? And he was like, no, no, I don't want to. See you, bye bye. And he just went. I couldn't stop him. He just went his way. And as I stood there, like already outside, and saw him walk away, I felt such a like shame and sadness, and I cannot even describe it, but I felt like I have betrayed him. Not just him, but also myself. I felt like I have betrayed my own values Because I thought, for a long time before that moment, I thought that I am improving a lot, that I'm a lot better than I was, that I'm stronger. And it was true. I improved and I was stronger. But that moment showed me that I wasn't as strong as I thought I am. Because if I would have been as strong as I thought, then I would have stood up for my own values and especially for my best friend in that moment. It was not a life or death situation or something, but it was a moment where this the anger he had on us that we made fun of this guy, it was legit. I saw it was legit, and it was as he was directly speaking to my inner values. Because to be honest, I thought about it afterwards and I realized that I'm glad that this situation happened, even though we had a fight and and he was angry at me. But I was happy because it showed me that there is still a lot I have to work on. There is still there are still things I'm missing out. That night showed me that night particularly, that moment showed me a side of me that I don't want to nurture. I don't want to be like that. I was something I don't want to be. Like, you have just to think about it. It is pathetic. We sat there like five grown guys making fun of some dude we don't even know. We haven't even seen in real life. Well, like, at least I haven't seen him in real life. And we're sitting there and cracking jokes on his, I don't know how to say, but on his cost, you know? And in the moment, it was like a flow. As I told you, our guy is very polarizing, and you don't think in the moment. And as well, we drank. It is not an excuse. It is not an excuse, but it explains to me why this happened. As I said, I it's good that it happened because it showed me what I don't want to be, and I don't want to be a guy who is making fun out of innocent people. I don't want to be the guy who judges people based on something, based on what someone said about him, or just because someone dislikes a guy doesn't mean I have to judge that guy. Just because a guy makes mistakes I did back then and I'm better now doesn't mean that I have to look down on him. That's like it really disappointed. I disappointed myself, and I could understand why my best friend was so angry at me. Not necessarily because I did not stood up for him, but because he knows that I am better than that. Because he knows that I'm not like that, and because he knows that I let myself go with the flow basically. So I understand why he was disappointed. I want to be the guy who supports others, who supports the weak people. I want to be the guy who meets people and makes a judgment himself with his own eyes and ears. I want to be a guy who can speak his own opinion and his own point of view and his own values, despite the fact that everyone around him might have another opinion, might be against it. And especially, I want to be the guy who, when a person who is important to him supports and stands up for this person, I want to be that. But in that moment, in that situation I just told you about, I was the opposite. And I sat there and I did not know what to say. I was paralyzed. I felt the shame, I felt the tension of the moment, but I couldn't say anything. I pussied out. I pussied out in that moment. And that is something I don't want to be. I don't want to be that version of myself. That is also a reason why I make a video about this. Because I think my situation is not unique in that sense. I remember a lot of times where I pussied out on things. But back then, like, I was pussing out all the time because I was a nice guy. I had no self-confidence. But today, I should be better. I should be better than that. I pussied out because I was too afraid to speak up to my guy friends and to say to him that this is wrong what we did and that he should not gaslight our best friend like that because our best friend is right. I pussied out to do that. And I regret that I didn't do that. But at least, and this is the most I can do now. The most I can do after such a situation is, of course, to apologize to my best friend without expecting anything, but just because it's an act of, it's a necessary act. To apologize, but also to look at the situation, to recognize that it was a mistake, and as I'm doing right now, to learn from it, to see the consequences and to map out future actions based on what happened in the past. If I would just ignore it, if I would just say, okay, yeah, it happened, it was unfortunate, just move on, it's fine, I would disrespect my friend even more. I would be ignorant and disrespect myself and the potential I have inside myself and the values I hold inside my heart. I would ignore all of that. I cannot repair my mistakes. I cannot change the past. I cannot change the past. Nobody can change the past. But at least I can do everything I can to prevent such situations in the future. And that is the beautiful part of learning from mistakes and looking at past experiences and mistakes through the lens of an analytic, let's say, or through the lens of what can I learn from it. Because even if it hurt, even if it was a moment of weakness for me, it was weak for me. That moment showed me that there is still something I need to improve. And because that moment happened, I will not do it in a situation where maybe I can lose even more. I risked my friendship with my best friend, but fortunately, I thank God for it. My best friend is a very intelligent guy. He's even further than me in mental things and in values and so on. So he forgave me. He forgave me. Maybe if that situation did not happen, let's say in 3 months I met a girl. I meet a girl in 3 months. And maybe she's my future wife. Maybe she's perfect. You never know. Maybe. And then there is a situation like that where I'm making fun of someone, or that suddenly I cannot stand up for my own values. I cannot stand up for her in a situation of conflict or whatever. And then I lose her. I lose my future wife because I pussy out. I lose a potential future family, a beautiful future. I sacrifice that because I want to avoid some conflict, because I am too much of a pussy to speak up, to stand up. That is brutal. And I'm very glad that this situation happened in that circle with my best friend who can forgive me, who knows me, instead of a situation, for example, with a future wife. Oh, I don't know with who. You should always, I always look at past experiences and at past mistakes, because every time I try to ignore them, I try to suppress them, I try to forget them, I make the same mistakes again. And that is not the reason why we're making the mistakes in the first place, why we're having brutal experiences in the first place. It's not just about the suffering, it's about that you learn. That you learn and that you improve every time. Every time you improve and you get stronger every time. So you can map out the future, so your future actions are clean and are aligned with your heart.